Namaste and welcome to Dragonfly Kukri and Knives. We concluded in our last video our production kukris in our series of production kukris versus handmade kukris from Nepal. So in this particular video we're going to start with the remaining kukri houses that we have yet to talk about and show their products. This one is the new kid on the block. This is, or among the new kids on the block, and this is Calades blades. This company I have purchased a number of kukris from, and every single one that I've gotten from them are fantastic. It's a company that I really like. I have a great deal of respect for. And I love their business model. They have a really good business model that makes a lot of sense to me for these young guys that are producing these kukris. Now, collectively, together, they all have about, I think they were saying about 60 years of experience among themselves. But a lot of them are young and have been producing kukris for a good chunk of their life. Now I'm going to actually read a quote from their website, and I really like what they're saying here. Composed of a senior ex-employees of other kukri houses who became dissatisfied with slipping quality standards and working conditions with former employers. Now, granted, when any of us choose to leave a company, you know, sometimes it's not because they're horrible companies or because they treat us bad, but just because we're going to try to venture something new in our lives. In this particular case, these guys were working for their employers. They were trying to do the best job they could do, making the best quality. And sometimes they didn't have, they weren't always given the tools to do the job, or they were told to do a substandard quality rather than a high quality. And their goal was to produce the best that they possibly could. Now, they probably either all worked together or some of them worked together, and they had conversations among themselves and were thinking, you know, hey, we could do this ourselves. We could put together our own company, and then we have control over the product that we do. We can work the way we want to work with the materials that we want to work, and no holds bars. You know, we can do whatever we want to do. And so they did that. They moved on and they formed their own company called Calades Blades, their own kukri house. Now, they first were established in 2015, and collectively, like I said, over 60 years of experience when you put them all together. Their goal is to do things better. It's very simple model. Do things better. And I think in many ways they have accomplished their goal, or are accomplishing their goal. Better pay, better knives, better lives. I think that kind of fits in that do things better category. So hopefully they are enjoying better pay, and hopefully they're having better lives. But better knives, well, we'll see. I'm going to talk about their knives and tell you what I think about it. It's my opinion based upon what I've collected and what I've used of their blades. If one is to contact Calades Blades, they're most likely to speak with either Andrew Lucas, an industrial designer and strategy consultant for the company, or you're going to speak with Vishnu Thapa. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, and he is head of operations. He's the one who makes sure that the quality of the knives are up to standard, and he uh, you're probably going to go through him or Andrew when it comes to a custom design if you're coming up with one of your own designs you want to present to them. They make only exclusively for Calades. They don't make for anybody else. So you're dealing directly with their company, and they have a very good and a very intelligently designed website. I really love their website. It's very user friendly, and it gives the customer a great deal of empowerment in actually having input into the cookery they want. So and the different types of cookeries that they provide is traditional, modern, and custom. So custom made, you can design your own cookery. Like I'm a designer, I could design a blade and then give it to them, and they'll build it. If they approve the design, they'll build it for me. But otherwise, like what I always gravitate towards, but not everybody will do that. Some people will prefer their modern cookeries. I tend to love their traditional cookeries. So I go there, and let's say I pick a design, one of the traditional cookeries. Then what I'll do is it gives me choices on their website. You can choose the blade length, you can choose the blade finish, you can choose the handle material, the hardware, the grind type, and the sheath. So let me kind of read over some of those things that you would see. Like let's say blade length. If you're choosing a particular a knife, maybe a BSI, you have a choice of either doing the traditional 9.5 or all the way up to the 13.5 inches. Let's say you want the blade finish to be polished, satin, or raw. You have those choices. The handmade material, or handle material, you can get buffalo horn, Indian rosewood, which is the dark rosewood, or you can go with the white rosewood, which is the lighter color. Hardware, you can go with brass, steel, or white metal. Grind type, heavy duty, performance, or standard. And then of course their sheath, you can get traditional, western leather, Kydex, or western leather left-handed. So you get a lot of choices. If you're lefty, you're pretty much stuck in most places in getting a right-handed knife, and then you have to try to fix it and figure out what you're going to do, whether it be having a custom scabbard made for you to house your knife so you can carry it for left-hand convenience, or, but in this particular case, you could actually request a left-hand carry. Now, they're stating that only with the leather, but I'm sure if you talk to Andrew or talk to Vishnu, they would probably accommodate you even with a traditional in a left-hand carry option. They really are out to try to make the cookery to your satisfaction, almost where it's a completely custom fit for you. And it's fantastic. I love that. Now, of the various different cookeries that I have collected, I'm going to show you the first one. The first one that I purchased from them is the Salani. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, which is a very traditional design. And when I pull it from its scabbard, anybody who knows me will know why. And that's because it's a Hanchi style design. And it's beautifully done. You can see it's very prominent curve, almost sickle shape style. Very nicely decorated upon the spine. A slight hollow forge, which helps lighten the blade. Has a 90-degree spine, so you could actually use this one against a ferro rod, and you're going to be able to throw some very nice sparks. Nice high saber grind that comes down to a convex edge. This is probably about a 13-inch blade, 12 to 13-inch blade. I chose the steel furnishings, which is your bolster and your butt cap and keeper, stick tang, buffalo horn. I could have had it in wood, but I chose a buffalo horn. And what I love about these guys is when they select buffalo horn, they look for beautiful horn that has great marbling on it. And then they bring it to a beautiful polish. This is the polish, and I also got the performance edge. Performance edge is a little bit thinner, very, very, very sharp. So this is a great martial arts um, um, weapon for doing your test cuts with Tommy mats or bottles or rope, but it's also a very functional blade where you can do excellent chopping and 100% functional. Now, they put it in a very traditional style scabbard that has the patuka buttons along with a nice, very prominent frog with a very thick and wide belt loop, traditionally done, nothing fancy and frilly about it, and there is no carta or chakmak. It's simply just the kukri and its scabbard. Less is more, but 100% functional. The next one I chose was this particular kukri, and this one was the Akira design. It's hollow forged, which makes it the Akira. Very kind of a very fat blade. It's probably about a 3-inch belly on it, but it's extremely light. This is a light and fast kukri. You got a good 1/4 inch that does taper down to the tip. Again, I chose the horn handle. It's a stick tang with the steel bolster and pommel and butt and keeper. Very traditional, but very beautiful and very functional. Very light. Just a comfortable blade. Beautiful. And I just love the marbling on that horn handle. It's just exquisite. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Nice smoky color to it. Just beautiful. And then comes again with that very functional but very simple, less is more, but highly functional traditional scabbard. Has a belt loop or a little lanyard loop on the bottom, but good sturdy leather. It's not going to break on you. This one actually has 2 option carries. You can vertical carry it with a very thick and wide belt loop, or you could carry it horizontally on your belt through the loop this way. Just very, very good, and it does not slide off. But no carta, no chakmak. But very, very, less is more, but high-end quality. Then another one is the BSI. This is the old BSI style, so you have a little bit more rounded edge here. Hollow forged, very slight, like almost a Scandi grind on it. Very prominent tip, very pointy, very light. This is a very light kukri. So I would call it a light to medium chopper. Has, again, about a 1/4 inch spine that does taper down. Beautiful marbling on the horn handle. Nice and smoky color. Just beautiful. Really, really exquisite. And very comfortable in the hand. This one I did choose the brass furnishings on it. So the bolster, the butt plate and keeper, keeping it more traditional to the original. And it does come with a military frogs with buttons. No chape, but it does have a lanyard loop for leg tie. Again, you have no carta or chakmak. Just, again, very simple, but very functional package. Then another one of my favorite ones is the Mutiny. And this one is really a longer blade. Now, the original, or the first, the one that they did, that they feature on their website is even longer than this. I shortened it a bit. I think I chose the maybe the 13-inch blade. It has an Akira right along the spine. This is an old traditional design of a Hanchi style kukri, a little bit more prominent blade, beautiful and light and fast and This is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my favorites that they do, and it has 1/4 inch all the way and then tapers down. Very nice design, and I really really love the 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 handle. The marbling on this handle is just absolutely beautiful. It's of course buffalo horn handle with just a keeper, no butt plate, and then it has the bolster, which is steel. And again, you have that very simple scabbard. Um, no chape. You have the leg tie loop on it. You have the vertical carry and the horizontal carry. No chakmak or carta, but 100% functional, beautiful, exquisite, light. All the blades that I get from them, except for one of them, I got with the performance grind on it and high polished, because I love how their performance grind works. It's really really razor sharp, and yet it's strong enough to take punishment. Now my absolute favorite that they do is the pensioner, and this is the pensioner, and this is in the traditional scabbard. Very beautiful design. Ikchera right up at the top. 100% functional Ikcheras. When they do the Ikcheras, they actually do what they're designed to do. In changing the reverberation to your hand, it lessens it. Plus, it lightens the blade. And so this is just a very light and fast blade, like all of their blades are. Beautiful grind to it. Very, very sharp. It is the performance edge. Look at that beautiful handle with the beautiful marbling, steel bolster, steel butt plate and keeper, stick tang goes all the way through. Again, you have the scabbard, very simple but yet traditional. You have the leather strap for your lanyard tie for your leg. You can do horizontal carry as well as vertical carry. No carta or chakmak. I guess they figured that most people don't need or use a carta or chakmak anymore. If you're going to carry this and you need a smaller knife, there are many other types of smaller knives that you can carry. So they don't really need to produce that. I guess that's their feeling on that. I liked the pensioner so much, I decided to get the pensioner in a Kydex scabbard. And let me tell you, these guys do a fantastic job with the Kydex scabbard. As you can see, it does not fall out. It's fit and form to the blade is excellent, excellent, excellent. And they got many different lashing points on it. You have a dangler style for your belt. You can either take it through this part, or you can take it through the other part if you want a little bit higher carry or lower carry on a D-ring. And it does allow you to move the blade when you have the dangler, to move it out of the way if you're sitting down. So it's very, very thoughtful in that regard. Push out. You have the open up at the split at the top, so you can carry, take it out. And again, beautifully designed, very well made. Now this particular one, I did not use the horn handle. I went with the rosewood, the dark rosewood handle, and yet still they pick wood that has beautiful grain patterns in it, so it just looks really beautiful, well polished, just very comfortable in the hand, and again very light and useful. I really have very few bad things to even comment about their stuff. It's just excellent, excellent. And let me tell you something also. Before I got the pensioner in the with the Kydex sheath, I ordered another one of theirs in a Kydex sheath, and this one is the MK1. Now, as an MK1, it's not what most people think. When a lot of the MK1s that are offered out there, it's the Fort Williams. they automatically assume all MK1s are the Fort Williams, which is not the case. As I showed in one of my earlier videos, that there were many different patterns that were emerging from World War I, where there was the attempt of standardizing the Kukri for the Gurkha units. So this is actually one of the early MK1 patterns. It's what they've based it upon. And it's not a Fort Williams. Now this particular one, I went with the standard grind. So it does not have the high performance grind. What's the difference? The edge geometry is going to be a little bit fatter, not thinner. So it's going to be able to take punishment a lot better than a thinner grind. So this particular Kukri is going to be a better chopper than all the other ones that I showed you because of the edge geometry. But this one's not going to be as shaving sharp as the other ones that I showed you. The other ones will glide through a piece of paper. This one will still slice a piece of paper, but because of the edge geometry, it's going to be not as clean of a slice as it would be the others. The others I can literally carve through the paper, making patterns and designs with just a very light effort. They're so sharp. But this one is still a very nice and very beautiful design. I did get the shorter blade length. I think it's either a 10-inch or 11-inch. I think it's 10-inch, which I wanted to make it more like a BSI, a smaller standard BSI style. It's a very nice Kukri. It's a little bit heavier than the other ones. Beautiful beautiful wood handle with great grains in it. Just beautiful, beautiful. Now this one has the the inset screw like you would see in some of the BSIs, especially the Fort Williams. So it's a stick tang that goes all the way through with steel bolster and that little integrated sunken hidden bolt at the tang. Very nice Kukri, very beautiful. Now this was when I ordered the Kydex. One thing that I noticed that they forgot to do, or it was maybe an oversight on their part, or they weren't thinking about it, and that was they left the screw ends up to where it could easily get hung on things and stuff. So it wasn't that was unfinished. When I mentioned that to them, and then I ordered another Kydex sheath, as you can see, they solved that problem. And I'm sure every single Kydex sheath that they produce and make nowadays is made correctly in this way. Very well done. Very, very well done. So they're taking a traditional style Kukri and putting modern materials with it. This is, Kydex, you have to shape it to the blade. And it's as custom as this. And the finish on this is excellent in that it's very rounded and smooth. There's no unfinished. This is 100% professional job that they did extremely, extremely well. You can't even expect to find anything better out there from a production company for certain. So did a fantastic job. And they listen to their customers, what their customers have to say. Now, sometimes you can get blems from them, and all knife companies have them. This was actually, I believe, to be a completely different knife than what it is. But this one, I would call their parang, in that it looks very much like a parang. It's in every possible way, it's a parang. Comes with your traditional scabbard, made the traditional Nepalese way. It has a little loop here for your leg tie. You have two different carry options. You can bring it through horizontally through your belt, or carry it vertically from your belt with this very generous and large loop. Now, this is a second family, what they would call blem. It failed as far as in some of its uh, intended design. I think the blade was to be curved, and there was some cracks or imperfections in the heat treatment of this blade in this area. So they cut it off and they came up with this design. Now, this is a very cool looking blade, despite the fact that it's a blem. It's got a single fuller. You've got a single chira that's a functional chira. It's very functional. You have a very thick piece of steel that's probably about a 5/16 of an inch, and then starts to taper down towards the tip. Then they brought it to the sheep hoof style tip, which is very typical of a parang. Slight curve on it, almost straight, but slight curve. And this is not only a good chopper, it is an excellent slicer. And it cuts through paper like, like nothing. Just very easy to cut right through the paper. I'm going to cut my notes here a little bit just to show you how light, just slices through paper like nothing. So it's got a performance edge on it. A little bit of a finger choil. It's a little bit tight of a fit, but it works good for my fingers and to give you good purchase point and be able to do your whittling. It has a raw finish horn handle. There's a little bit of shrinkage, so some of the tang does kind of stick up a little bit, which I could Dremel it, or I can just wrap it with sports tape to kind of eliminate that. Although I hate to cover up any handle that they do, even though this one doesn't quite have the marbling as the others. If I were to take a buffer, I could probably polish this up really nice and it would look just absolutely gorgeous. But I like it. Now they have little divots here where the chira starts. I might go in there and do a little Dremeling right there and kind of make a good pinch grip so that you could use it for, just kind of looks like that would be a good form follows function in that area. I don't know. We'll see. But for blem, it's an excellent blem. I mean, this is just, you make a mistake and then you create something new that's really cool. And this is a great parang. Excellent. I have no problems taking that out in the jungle somewhere. So, very, very well designed, well thought out. So, as you notice, none of these have cardus or chalk mugs. So, you pair any one of these up with a nice muro, like this, and you've got a great kit. That you can, this for your small tasks, and all these will function in your bigger tasks. But trust me, any one of these, you can get up there and, it's so light, it's no problem getting in there and do your whittling. It's a very functional and well-made, well-designed, beautiful, beautiful product. Now, I consider these on the high-end scale of Kukris. Are they high-end in price? I would call them a good mid-range price. Most of their Kukris you can get from like $100 on up to $200, just depending upon the size and how you want it made. But most of these that I showed you would be anywhere from like $120 on up to maybe $175. So really not that expensive, and for what you're getting a very high quality Kukri that you can literally have it custom made to your liking. So a lot of empowerment to the customer that they allow and provide. And I've tried to, borrow some of their ideas in my web design. I'm the type of product that I'm trying to sell on my website. I want to allow the customer to have empowerment to choose the materials and choose the handle length and
blade size, and they can pretty much tell me what they want. Now, I do have a standard that I put out there for people to get, but it doesn't mean that we can't be flexible and design it any way that they want to. But on this guy's website, you literally can push buttons and select blade length and color and whatnot. And it gives you a lot of empowerment in getting the right kukri fitted for you and your like. So they're very, very good kukri company, and I look forward to seeing them have a very long and lustrous career in making not only great kukris of traditional style, but also of the modern styles. Andrew is a great designer. He actually designed a kukri that I think everybody is familiar with, called the Scourge, that other companies or other kukri houses that have copied his design call it the Apocalypse. But the Scourge has been copied and recopied by so many different companies. When he first did the design, he did it for KHHI, and now I've seen like just so many different spin-offs of his design, which really goes to show and speak well of him as a designer. His design was popular among many, many people who acquired it and have used it. So that concludes Calades blades. Please look them up on their website. You will not be disappointed in the quality of their blades. I really have nothing bad to say about them whatsoever, as you can tell. And they're a very good quality product. They're a young company, and they're growing and doing some fantastic things. Please like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. If you have any questions or want a little bit more information on any of these blades, I do have some of them that I have done reviews on my Facebook page at Blue Dragonfly Trading Post, and that's where you can message me and ask questions. Also, please visit my website. No, you won't find Calades, but you will find some other blades that are hopefully equal to their fine quality products. Thank you very much for watching. Namaste. God bless. Like and subscribe, and visit my website at dragonflykukriandknives.com. Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you. God bless.